Okay, guys, we're going to come back whole group here and do just a little bit of processing. Okay, just a little bit of processing. So we're actually, this activity went really well. I'm super excited about it because we've tweaked this from what it was last time. So I think it really helped to talk about the alignment piece. If everybody can kind of flip back this way towards the back wall, we're going to put on our facilitator coaching hats for a little bit and do a little bit of a deconstruct of the activity, what we thought, what went really well, what things might you need to tweak with your staff. So, all right, Jamie is ready with her facilitator hat. So, yeah, we'll run it around. So let's think about, first question, what part of this activity works well? What parts of this work well? What things for you made this effective? I'll run.
I think that we were collaborating. That worked very well.
Smaller groups.
Smaller groups, awesome.
Well, there was already structure to it, and the ideas and the information was there. We just had to reassemble it.
Nice. There wasn't a lot of that put it together stuff. All that stuff was there. Other thoughts about why this worked well?
I think it helped us have a clear idea about what our big ideas, what our outcomes, and to have a discussion about why we put things there was a great opportunity to deepen our understanding. And so the sorting really helped us in that discussion. Had I had to do it by myself, I don't know that it would have come out looking the same, and I liked learning from my colleagues at the table. I liked hearing their thinking about why we put something somewhere.
Good, so we did a little bit of that. I did a little bit of direct instruction up front, right, on each of the components. And then what Kim is saying is the deeper understanding of each of those things really came through this activity, kind of building your own knowledge. Right, other thoughts? Oh, good.
When you were roaming around and helping people.
So as a coach or a facilitator, when you have your peeps working on stuff, roaming around, helping, answering questions, super, super important. Hands on. Bob Scott, good. Next question. Oh. Julie.
Well, I was just going to say at our table, it really was a good inquiry activity because I think we have more questions now than we have answers and clarity.
Oh, good. I think it was a good inquiry activity because now they have more questions than they have answers. So what I'm seeing with what Julie is saying is we start to understand what we don't know, right? We're becoming aware of what we don't know, which is a good thing. All right, next little bit of processing with that facilitator hat on. I want you to think about where your staff is at in your building. Okay, where your staff is at. Would this activity work with where your staff is at? Could you do this activity in your building and have it be successful? So just share with the person next to you. If you came as a pair, this might be a good discussion for you guys to have. Would this work as part of the introduction of stage 1 pieces? And if not, if they're not quite to this point yet to where they have a good enough understanding of the basic parts, how could you tweak this a little bit to make it a little bit more simple for folks? How could you do that? Okay, couple minutes.
So do we write it on the flip chart and then write other modifications that they come up with?
Like that. Love it. Okay, thoughts about your school, your staff? Would this work for where you guys are at? And if not, what sort of modifications could you make in order to have it be successful? Okay, do they have the background knowledge that you'd need to do this? I don't think you can do this straight out of the box without knowing the background stuff about stage 1. So if your staff is not quite there yet, what are some modifications that you could do to make this a little bit less challenging?
We were just talking about strategic groups, that we have enough people in our building that have a little bit of a deeper understanding, but if you place them accordingly, they could help those a little bit more that don't.
At our building, our GVC liaison already did a presentation and kind of took us through an activity with stage 1. So she laid the framework or the foundation or whatever. And now I think based on what she did, it would make sense to do this with staff. And again, strategically placing people who are like your BAS representative.
Good.
It all connects.
I love hearing that. It all connects. It makes me like want to cry. Other thoughts, modifications, different ways that you could do this to make this work for your staff? Yeah.
We thought of one idea. We could start with a content area and have the little pieces of paper for that, and then have them, you know, put in the enduring understandings and then the big ideas and the outcomes for a content area.
So put it in a content area, right? This professional development thing's a little more nebulous sometimes than that content area. Great suggestion, good modification. Paula.
Well, at Thunder Ridge, and Brad's been working really hard on teaching backward design, and a lot of people have taken it. But one of the big questions our staff has is, you know, they know they have the standards, the state standards. Where do those fit in and all of this? And our teachers need more concrete and a little bit less abstract, especially especially our math teachers and our science teachers. But it kind of goes across the board. So, you know, it's trying to deal with the more concrete as opposed to the abstract. And I don't have an answer for that.
I think I might. So I've done a similar activity with teachers in buildings, but instead of giving the enduring understandings and having them sort all the different things, I have them make 4 columns: an enduring understanding column, an essential questions column, a big ideas column, and an outcomes column. And then I pull up a Google Doc that's numbered 1 through 10, and I pulled these straight out of the GVC and the draft of enduring understandings document that our WC and CP department has put out, and I placed them out of order. So I had 10 things on the sheet. Some were outcomes, some were enduring understandings, some were essential questions, and they were actually pulled out of a content area backward plan, and then they sorted those into those different columns. happen very quickly, much less intense, a little bit easier. So I think that might be an idea that you guys can maybe use, Paula, if you take a secondary content area and then have them sort, you give the things to them and have them sort just based on what they are. That would work a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. Susan.
If we did that for all the different departments, where would you get those?
I can share the one that I did if you guys want to use it. Yeah, I'll put it in a Moto for you guys so you can use that for sure. Other thoughts? Okay, so a little bit more processing. Oh wait, we did have some feedback that we were looking for some whole group thoughts as well. Right. On how they were sorted. Okay, so things that you guys noticed on the sorting part, was this easy or difficult? What parts were hard? Just some full group processing, Liz.
What goes where?
Oh, you guys want the answers? Okay. So let's talk about the answer part. First and major big question, is there a right answer? So technically they came out of the plan in a certain order, right? So there was an order that we had envisioned, but what did you guys notice as you did this activity? Did you see any overlap? Yeah.
Analyzing is critical thinking, evaluating is critical thinking, and just because it doesn't start with C doesn't mean it's not critical thinking.
Yes.
Yay! Okay. Great point. So that part, maybe if we had written things differently, that part of the activity would have been a little bit easier, but absolutely right. So if you think about evaluation as critical thinking, we should have one of the 4 C's in each of our outcomes. Right? So maybe it's not labeled critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, or that's a great point to make. Yeah, and the other thing that we really wanted to stress, so to the answer key question, there's not specifically right answers. I mean, things align in a certain way, and that's really the whole point that we're trying to get you guys to see is that alignment piece right now. Right? These things should all align somehow. If you're missing that alignment piece, if we have an outcome that doesn't fit anywhere underneath any of our big ideas or our essential questions or enduring understandings, it probably shouldn't be a part of the plan. Right? Or same thing, if we have a big idea that doesn't align anywhere to an enduring understanding and an essential question, probably shouldn't be part of the plan. So did anybody find anything? Does anybody have pieces of paper sitting on the table still that they couldn't align anywhere? Because that would be really bad for us. Okay, so technically there was kind of one right answer. If you wanted to see what the right answer was, you guys could take a look at our backward plan that's linked through the presentation. Everything's aligned there. But keep in mind that there is a little bit of that flexibility. Some of our essential questions overlap with more than one enduring understanding. Right? So there is a little bit of overlap there too. Okay. One more coaching trick, facilitator talk. We physically moved spaces, right, when we started to talk about the facilitator and coaching skills. Let's talk a little bit about this activity. Why as a facilitator are we moving the spaces when we switch gears? How does that help? Yeah, Cindy.
It's separating our topic from our process. Like you're talking about the physical, like we're not talking about backwards design necessarily, but the facilitation of backwards design.
Excellent. Why move space? Yep. Shifting topics. So we did the movement of actual physical space. Move from the front back here when we're switching topics. What are other ways that you could do that if you don't have that much space in which to move around? Are there other ways that you could indicate a switching of a topic besides the physical movement?
Different charting.
Different charting, colors of charting, very good. How many of you guys wear different hats in your buildings? Do more than one job? Anybody have that going on? Okay. So literally you could put on a different hat, right? Like physically wear a different hat when you're talking about a different topic. I'm learning all these great things from Kristen and Jamie. They're my facilitator gurus. right? Other thoughts or ideas? Why do we have multiple people recording our answers? Is this a good idea to have multiple people back there? Yeah.
I think you can stay engaged with the audience while their back is to us writing.
Good. So partners in crime when you're doing these things with your staff, right? I can stay engaged with you guys, talking through things, and I have my helpers who can write in the back. Also, if you have a lot of information coming very quickly, helpful to maybe have more than one person in order to keep up with the ideas that are happening. Right, so we're noticing both Jamie and Holly are writing, and we had 3 back there at first. Good. All right, guys. So we're gonna do a little bit of a transition because we've been working at this pretty hard for a little bit. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, and we're gonna come back and do a little bit more in-depth things and be ready to roll. So right now it is, we'll do 10 after 10. We'll come back. And that'll give you guys a chance to check in, check your email, check your phone calls, and we'll get back rolling here in 10 minutes.